Fine. So this was his observation, very strong observation, that legal advice could serve no purpose if the Indians continued to live in the fear of the British. And possibly the lawyers understood what Gandhi meant. And as a result of all this, as a result of this particular important incident in this entire episode, or this particular small episode in this entire incident, made Gandhi observe one very important thing, that what was extremely important was freedom from the fear of the British. Freedom from the fear of the British. This was very important. If the reason was, if the Indians do not fear the British, then they would stand up against the British and demand or claim what was due to them, what legally belonged to them. Therefore, freedom from the fear of the British was extremely important. This is very, very important, and many a time you are asked to elaborate, to expand this. So, why is this important? Why is freedom from the fear of the British important? That has been explained, because if they do not harbor any kind of fear, then they would automatically rise up and demand what actually belongs to them. Now, when he, having met lawyers, what Gandhi does is, Gandhi decides to meet the first high-ranking British official, and he meets the commissioner of the Tirhut region, commissioner of the Tirhut region, Tirhut division rather, division, under which Champaran lay. And this commissioner right away started to bully Gandhi. This is what Louis Fisher writes, and asks him to leave Champaran immediately. Well, Gandhi leaves his office, and the following day he learns that one sharecropper was being harassed by the British officials. So he sets out on an elephant to find out his well-being. And on the way, en route, Gandhi is stopped, and a messenger of police superintendent hands him a piece of paper which actually is a summons, which actually asks him to return to wherever he was putting up. Gandhi signs the receipt and writes on the obverse side of it, saying that he would not return. Now, this was a messenger from police superintendent, and he had disobeyed a government official. As a result of all this, Gandhi receives a summons to appear in the British court. Now, that their champion was in trouble with the British authorities spread like a wildfire. And the following morning, where Gandhi was to appear before the court, a huge crowd surrounds that particular court, and the British police have difficulty in controlling the crowd, and it is Gandhi who helps the British police to control the crowd. Now, this huge assembly of sharecroppers from in and around Champaran to support Gandhi, as a moral support to Gandhi, because they thought that Gandhi was in trouble with the British authorities, was the beginning of the proof that the Indian in general, the sharecroppers in particular, were beginning to come out from the fear of the British. Was the beginning of the fact that they were coming out from the fear of the British. Anyway, the legal proceedings start. And before that, one very important thing happens. Louis Fisher writes in this excerpt, Indigo, that the town of Motihari, it is in Motihari that the court was located. The town of Motihari appeared black with the peasants. Appeared black with the peasants. He says this. The town of Motihari appeared black with the peasants. Now, obviously, Louis Fisher is describing a bird's eye view, a bird's eye view of the huge gathering in support of Gandhi. He was actually describing an image shot by a camera from at an elevated point. Anyway, the proceedings begin, and Gandhi pleads guilty and says that he had been guilty of disobeying the British law. But he tells the court that he was actually in two minds. He says he was in a kind of conflict of duties. He was in a kind of conflict of duties. That he was indecisive vis-a-vis two things: whether to obey the British law or to stay back in Champaran. If he obeyed the British law, he would have to leave Champaran and would obviously be of no help to his countrymen. If he stayed back in Champaran, he ended up defying the British law. So he says he resolved it. He resolved this conflict. He resolved this particular conflict. And this is very important. He resolved this particular conflict by coming to this understanding. This is what he tells the lawyer, that he decided to defy the British law, not because of any kind of disrespect to the British law, but because he wanted to follow the higher law of being.